So let's do some hands-on, and in all the hands-on of Athena, we'll be using files from Athena dataset folder. You can get it in the Google Drive that I have shared with to your email. So in this particular hands-on, we'll be using glue crawler, and we'll be creating a database called 3IAM Athena DB GDC. GDC meaning glue data catalog. And we'll create the tables for the following. We'll create tables for customers, order items, orders, sellers, and then we'll set the query output location in S3 in the Athena console. That's all we are going to do here. Now, if you see that we are not using Athena SQL at all, we'll be using glue crawler to discover all the datasets. Okay, first of all, let me show you the dataset that I'm going to use, and you'll find this dataset in Athena dataset. I have loaded it in 3IAM Athena dataset, and inside of this bucket, I have created this folder Athena tables, and here I have some CSV files, and some tables or some files are inside of folders. For example, for customers, we have this customer underscore 2 CSV. But for order items, I have put both the files under order items folder. Similarly, I have JSON files under orders underscore JSON folder. We have Parquet files in orders underscore Parquet. Then we have orders files under orders folder, products files in this particular folder itself in CSV. Then seller file, and then under sellers underscore Avro, we have the Avro file for sellers dataset. Now we'll be using this in future hands-on, but as of now, what we'll do is, first of all, let me go ahead and create a database, and I'll give the location as this one. What I have to do is that I will create a database first. So let me click on add database. The name of the database would be 3IAM Athena DB GDC. And the location would be Athena underscore tables in the bucket 3IAM Athena dataset. So the database has been created. Now to create the tables, let me go ahead and create a crawler. Add S3 as the data source, and I'll put the location as the folder in the bucket 3IAM Athena dataset. And this is the same IAM role that I had used in the glue data catalog chapter in appendix. And the target database would be 3IAM DB GDC, which I have just created, and the crawler schedule would be on demand. So the crawler has been created. Now let me go ahead and run the crawler and see whether we get any output or it errors out. Because what I had done is that there are very different types of files available in the S3 folder. So if you click on Athena tables, we have CSV file, we have folders, JSON folders, Parquet folders, etc. So let's see what crawler does. The crawler execution completed in 1 minute 12 seconds, and we should be able to see the tables in some form or shape. So these are the tables that has been created. So if you see, the first table name is customer underscore 2 underscore CSV. Then you have order items, then you have orders, then orders Parquet, then products table, sellers Avro, etc. And also it tells you the location and the classification, right? So which are the classifiers that have been used. That's okay. Well, I'm not bothered about these name of the tables now. So what I'm going to do now is that let me refresh this, and I should be able to see all the tables in the glue data catalog. So if you see, I have this customer underscore 2 underscore CSV, order items, orders Parquet, products new, dataset 1 CSV, etc. All these tables are visible in Athena. So what I'm trying to show you here is that Athena actually uses glue data catalog wholly and solely. Of course, we can use Hive Metastore also, but as we are using Athena, and Athena has very good integration with Glue, which is also serverless, so it makes more sense to use Glue data catalog because you do not have to do anything. Just run the crawler on a database or run the crawler on an S3 file, and we have all the tables getting created. And let's see whether the columns have been created properly or not. For customer, definitely it has been created. Same is the case with order items, orders also, and orders parquet, products, sellers, and sellers avros. So as you can see, the schemas have been created pretty well and nice using glue crawler, and you can use these tables in Athena console. So we have also set this query output location. Now what am I going to do is that I'll run a query on customer underscore to underscore CSV. So if I execute this, there are no files records here. Let's run query on order underscore items. All right, the query execution completed, and as you can see, there are various things here. The first thing is that the time in queue. So we'll talk about this queue and workload management. But the execution time of the query was 2 minutes 20 seconds, 20.634 seconds, and it scanned approximately 3 GB of data, and it took approximately 2.5 minutes to scan 3 GB of data, and it returned 200 million rows. So there's one more thing is reuse query results. And what happens here is that if you run the query, let's say again, then this query result would be stored in S3 and it will be retrieved from S3 directly. So the query will not execute it again. And we can mention the time. So it is up to 60 minutes ago. We can change it to a maximum of 10080 minutes. And let's say we'll keep it as 600 minutes, which is approximately 10 hours. We'll reuse the query results up to 10 hours. I have not enabled it yet, but if I enable it and run it again, the query would be retrieved from the output result set only. We can also see the explain output or explain plan for this particular query. We can clear it and then we can create a table from query or create a view from query also. Other than this, we can see the query statistics also, and you can see that the amount of data processed was 200 million rows. The input bytes were 3.35 GB. This is the input rows. The output rows were 200 million and the output bytes were 3.35 GB. And this is where the execution details of the particular query is. So queuing is 0%, pre-processing is 0%, execution is 100%. So as you can see, the execution itself took 2 minutes 21 seconds. And if you click on view execution details, it will show us the execution details also of this query. So it shows something called execution stage in Athena. So now the other things are the recent queries, saved queries, and settings. I have already shown you settings. So if you click on recent queries, basically it will tell you the details of the queries that I have completed. So here we have select star from order underscore items. We can click on this, and these are the other queries that we had run in the lake formation exercise. So if I click on it, this is the query that was executed, and we can look at the explain output also, as I said. And this is the distributed plan, and this is the logical plan, which is table scan and output. We'll talk about it later on in performance optimization. I can also save this query, and if I save this query, it will be stored in the saved queries. As of now, I have not saved any query as such, but if I want, definitely I can save this query. Now what we can do here is that this is the editor, and click on these three dots, and if you click on save as, we can save it with a particular name, and the moment we save it, it will come in the saved queries list. Then we have something called Workgroup here. So currently the Workgroup is primary. We'll talk about Workgroup in WLM again. And if we want, we can download the results also from this particular button. And if I click on this, it would be downloaded as a CSV file. The size is 3.5 GB. I do not need this, so I'll stop it. And then let's see the output location. So in the edit, if you remember in the settings, I had mentioned this query result location. So let's go to that particular location, which is 3 IAM Athena output bucket. And here we have this folder called unsaved. If I click on this, it would show me the execution result on a particular date. So let's say if I take today's date, so these are the queries that are unsaved. So this is one query, this is another query, and this is the metadata about that query. So that's why we need to provide this output location in the Athena settings. So that's all about the console. Now, before going further, what will I do is I will delete the database and of course all the other tables, because we'll be using Athena SQL to create these tables and databases. So I have deleted the database, and as a result all the tables have been deleted as well.